So this is going to be our last video with our cup using all different tools. So this last video we're going to use a bunch of different tools. So try to keep track of them all and write them all into your inventor skill set, and make sure that you understand what they do and how we're using them. So what we want to do is turn our cup into a mug by adding a handle. So I want to add a handle right along this side of my cup. So I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to use a work plane. So I'm going to use a work plane offset from the plane, and I'm going to go to my origin. And I don't want to use the bottom, and I don't want to use the side. I want to use this plane. And if I see from the front, this is going straight through the center of my object. I want this work plane to be where my handle is going to start, so like right around here. So I'm just going to try a bunch of numbers. So 1 inch gets me a little further over. 2 inches is too far, so maybe 1.5, a little bit less, 0.4, maybe 1.3 inches. We want our work plane to be the start of our handle, so we're going to put it right about there. And I'm going to show you why we're going to need this. So if I now want to create a sketch on here, I can create a 2D sketch onto my work plane, and I can zoom in, and if I click F7, that's a slice graphics. You can either do F7 on your keyboard, or it's in the view tab, slice graphics, and it will slice so I can only see, exactly where my work plane is going through. So I know I want to put my handle beginning somewhere in here where the cup is, because this part is where the cup is coming out too far, and this part is where the cup is going in too far. Right here is where I'm in the middle of my thickness of my cup. So I'm going to leave my slice graphics on, and as I said before, I can just click F7 to turn it on and off. I'm going to go back to my sketch tab, and I don't want to use a circle because I don't want my handle to be perfectly round. I'm going to use a slot. So to use a slot, you click 1 line, 2 lines, make sure your line is straight, and as you pull out, it will make a slot, kind of like a little bit like an ellipse around here. So I'm going to make my handle that thick. It doesn't matter how thick you want to make it, just make it something like that and make sure it stays in between the portion that is the thickness of your cup. So I'm going to finish that sketch, and I'm going to need to use another tool. This is the thickness of my handle, but I want it to follow a line all the way around. So I am going to uncheck my visibility so I don't have to see that right now. Then I'm going to use one of my planes, another plane that cuts right through. So this plane, if you can see, cuts right through the middle of my cup. And I don't want it to move at all, so I'm just going to click a check there. So I want to now create a sketch onto that plane. This is going to get a little tricky, but just try to stay with me. So right now, this sketch is going straight through the center where I can touch the center of my sketch before. So I'm going to use Spline tool, which is used to create different kinds of shapes. So I'm going to not go straight through on my slot. I'm going to go a little bit farther back, just a little behind that portion. To use your spline, you just continually click different points, and it will slowly follow you down. So I can see that this goes a little bit looks a little like a handle. And once I'm done, I'll click my check. You can see that I want to stop. I can see the thickness of my cup because it's made of glass. So I'm going to click the check, and now I have this arrow, and I can drag any of these points out if I think I want to change the actual geometry of that handle. I'm going to finish that sketch, and now I have this line this spline geometry, and I have my slot right here. So I don't need this either, so I'm going to make that invisible. Now I want to use the last tool that I'm going to show you, which is called Sweep. Sweep uses a sketch profile and a path. So my sketch profile in this case is my slot that I made first, and then my spline is the path that I want it to follow. And you can see, since those are the only two profile and path, it automatically selected that for me. You might have to click profile and check, click on that slot that you made, or you might need to click path and click on your path. But for me, it automatically selected it, so I can click OK. And now I see that my handle is perfectly on my cup.